Hello there you guys, it's Miss Charlotte and welcome back to another video on this channel. Today we are back with another speed build, which is exciting. I don't think other than like my 100th video on this channel, I don't think I have done any other speed build with a webcam. So that's what's happening today. So yes. But today I thought I would build something a little, like, not very festive at all. I know it's the Christmas period, but I actually decided to go ahead and build something that I've been thinking about building for a while, which is a very kind of hipster looking, very modern, cool, industrial style coffee house, which is what we're building today. So the way I imagined this kind of coffee house and where I've seen them before, they're kind of part of like a massive set of buildings, and it's just normally like the bottom floor, or maybe if it's like on a massive high street, like I'm imagining coffee shops on Oxford Street in London, you get ones that kind of precede 2 floors and they're like all glass and really cool modern. So that is kind of what I wanted to create today. So I decided to kind of build it like this massive square, which looks a little bit weird, but the way I imagine it is maybe this is part of like a whole block of shops and this is like the corner one, because I do have like these cool wraparound like floor to ceiling almost windows going round. So that's kind of what I was going for here. So it looks a little bit weird in The Sims just because it is a massive block, but maybe, who knows, I'll put it on a massive lot one day and we'll make loads of different shops and then add them all together, and then we'll have like a massive high street of all these cool shops. I'm basically trying to build Oxford Street, I think. Like, I haven't been there for a while, but I remember like on my 20th birthday, maybe it was, or maybe it was 19th, me and my mum went to Oxford Street and we went to this really cool coffee place that was kind of like this, and a massive inspiration for this build actually. There were just these cool industrial lights and stuff, and it looked very cool and very like, the way I describe it is hipster. Like I said that at the beginning of the video, like very hipster, very edgy, and that's kind of what I wanted to achieve. I did want to make it really industrial as well. When I was building in mind, I definitely had, I want some really cool exposed brick walls everywhere, because to me that feels really rustic and like exposed and cool. And also I love these counters. They're from base game and they're like the only industrial style counters we actually have, or like, I don't know, I feel like the industrial style kind of lacks in The Sims. It kind of is brought back with the eco lifestyle furniture a little bit, but yeah, I definitely wanted this for like the main kind of food drink area, so that's kind of what I went for here. So the way I laid this out was I wanted to have like the kind of counter area where you make the drinks and everything, and then have a little bit of a bar to the side where you can just kind of sit there and drink, kind of like a lot of Starbucks have, like you get the high bars where you can drink your coffee, or there's tables everywhere. So I wanted to have both. One thing I did struggle with at first, like this whole layout that you can see right now with all the counters over top, I actually get rid of, not counters, cabinets. I always mix the two up, I don't know why. I scrapped in the end because this whole thing I made 2 levels. The main section, oh geez, this main section of the building is like 2 levels, and so half of it, no, maybe a third of it, I split up and made like an upper balcony area, which you'll see, but it meant this bit behind the coffee making area was like massive, like there was a massive wall, and so at first I was like, I'll put some little cabinets in, and it didn't really look good. So in the end, you will see I make it very like open, like massive chalkboard which would have like all the drinks on it theoretically, and then above I put some cool paintings and stuff. But I definitely had a vision with that main part of the cafe where you would coffee shop where you would get your drinks. I also wanted to make a little kitchen area, because normally you have like a little behind the scenes place where you'd make the foods that you sell at a coffee shop, because it's not always drinks. And I guess this can make it semi-functional if you wanted to kind of make this like work as a retail shop, I guess. The one thing I do struggle with, and I do want to work on, is when I am making community builds, or community lots rather, like this, it's struggling to make them functional. Like coffee shops, you can make them functional in the sense of with the university pack, I think it's only when you go into debug you can get these like this massive like espresso cafe thing where you can buy pastries and coffees and stuff from it. It kind of acts like a bar, but I kind of wanted to make my own version because they don't have it looking industrial, and like the whole point of creating things like this in The Sims is I like trying to do it on my own rather than using a set piece like that. But if any of you know what I'm talking about, like that would be functional, I guess. But this, I don't know, I guess you could experiment and try and make it functional as a thing where you could cook things and sell it and set it for sale. But otherwise it's more of like a visually appealing thing, I guess, rather than a super functional thing. But I really liked it. So here I'm working on the kind of main area. I was debating a lot with the kind of color schemes. So I had a lot of grays going on with the outside of the build. It started off very gray, and then on the inside it's quite warm in comparison. Like I guess the kind of more steampunky bar stools are quite dark. But otherwise lots of brown themes. Like I changed up what bar seats I use for the rest of the tables, and I made sure all of them were high tables as well. I don't know why, I just thought it was kind of cool. I like it when coffee shops have high tables. They're a bit of a pain to sit on sometimes, but I quite like it. So that's kind of what I went for. I went for these kind of, I think they're island living. It was a mixture of different packs actually with this, like lots of what do you call it, there's some like jungle adventure, I think, island living, tiny living with these tables. I think I really like these tables, but yeah, definitely playing around with all of the different color swatches and just trying to figure out what I was going for. And you'll see me moving things about a lot and just being like, that doesn't look right. But yeah, I was quite happy what we came up with in the end. I say we like someone builds this with me. I feel like I always do that. I say we a lot, and I don't know. I'm a crazy person, it's fine. But up here on the balcony, I kind of wanted some cool statement piece things on the walls to make sure it wasn't too bare and lots of exposed brick. Like I wanted some, but I also wanted some other decoration. So instead of going for paintings, I actually went for bamboo, which I thought was really cool. It added like a nice pop of green, because a lot of this is just like lots of browns and things like that, and you kind of want to break it up with like some cool color. So that's what I tried to do. Although not a lot of plants in this build, to be honest, not a lot of plants. Whilst I was building this, I had like kind of two visions in my head. This was the main one. The other one was I'd love to make another coffee shop, which is more cozy with loads of bookshelves and stuff. So I think I might do that. I don't know why. I've never really built a coffee shop. I've built like bakeries and stuff in The Sims, but this style of coffee shop I haven't really built, but I really liked it. I think it looks really, really cool. I like the whole industrial style of building, and I bet if I played with CC, I find some really cool stuff to kind of achieve it with. But with The Sims 4 at the moment, with the packs I have, a little bit limited in what I can do with industrial stuff, but very, very much liked what I ended up with here. So I ended up using different lights actually. Where are these lights? Fitness stuff. God, fitness stuff has some incredible stuff. Like honestly, it's such an underrated pack. I think I like got the pack at some point and then realized as I was building, like, oh my god, this actually has some amazing stuff to play with. So I used these lights. I really wanted some really low hanging pendants over the bar areas. I think those are so cool when you have like 3 sets of low hanging lights. I really like that look, so I made sure to include that and then kind of continued those same lights throughout the rest of the build. It's a bit hard trying to do big lights unless you use the chandeliers that are in The Sims 4 when you're using a room which has a really high ceiling, because you've got 2 levels, if that makes sense. So I created 2 stacks of rooms and then deleted the floor, so it's like a really tall ceiling. So it was a bit difficult in terms of using lights in that respect, but pretty cool in the end using those ones, I think. And then I was just working on making this area, as you can see, just kind of messing around with what the hell I was doing with the walls, but adding some nice coffee stuff and some other decorations. I ended up wanting to go with some shelves here. I didn't really fill the shelf that much, but I did include it. It's a really nice one from Eco Lifestyle. This is what I mean, like the kind of industrialness and the nice woods as well, like wood and metal. There's a lot of furniture and stuff like that from Eco Lifestyle, so I definitely dabbled with that pack a lot. I also debated making it look really cluttered and lived in, like with lots of mugs and coffee stuff from Debug, because you can get like little takeaway coffee cups and things, but I wasn't a massive fan of it, so it's kind of a mixture of semi looking cluttered and stuff, but not too much to the fact where you could probably still make it functional and use it in The Sims without it being like, there's like clutter everywhere. So it was a little bit of a mixture, which I kind of like, although definitely I get really tempted when I see Debug to make some of my builds like super cluttered and really lived in. Like you can see some houses that people build and they look so cool, like you've got like a remote control and like pillows, and it's really cool. But as you can see from just earlier, I decided to put some massive food paintings up in that space, which I think really worked nicely. I love those paintings. I think they're really cool in like food community lots. I really like them. And then I was just kind of like experimenting with these things because they kind of scream coffee shop and I really wanted to include them. It was just a matter of fact of finding where they go, and it also didn't help that I wasn't a fan of the swatches. Like it didn't really correspond with a lot of the swatches I was already using. There wasn't a kind of light one that was the perfect shade of brown that I wanted, which I mean is a big ask, I guess. But I ended up going with like this cool arrangement over that little bar area over there. I think I kept that color, I think so. And then I kind of, under the stairs, I wanted this cozy little cubby, which I ended up making. And I put like a little chair there and the bookshelf, which made me, that's kind of what got me thinking, oh, I want to make a coffee shop, which is like super cute and cozy with bookshelves everywhere. Kind of like a Waterstone. So if those of you don't know what Waterstones is, I'm pretty sure it's international. I don't think it's just a British store, but it's a bookstore. But in the Waterstones near me, there's an upstairs which is like a coffee shop, and it's amongst the bookshelves, and it's just super cozy and cool. So that's definitely something I think I might build in future. But this is the more industrial open style, more of a coffee shop than anything else really. So now just adding some clutter to the kitchen. I didn't really do much with the kitchen, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe that's one thing I could have worked on a little bit more, but it was just kind of like a little side piece. Same with the bathroom, so those were just the kind of little side things in the build because they're kind of necessary, but the main things were like the massive open plan area. And I really like that whole balcony I did upstairs that overlooks the rest of the cafe. I think that's super cool. Like in apartments too, like studio apartments, the idea of having an overlooking balcony I love, and just like a high ceiling and the rest of the kind of ground floor or whatever floor it would be, I really liked. And then here, like the most tedious part of this whole build, I think. I do enjoy doing these parts, but it definitely takes a lot of fiddling, as you can tell. A lot of people have recommended when I build on the stream and they see me struggling with this kind of thing is using the red shelf mod, which I may do in future. We shall see. But I just kind of went through debug and found some like food stuff, some drink stuff that you would normally kind of see at a coffee shop. Because you know you always have that fridge with like sandwiches and stuff. I decided to do drinks and cupcakes for some reason. Cool combo, I guess. At first I was doing these like strawberry milks and like stuff. I was like, what am I doing? Like in an actual coffee shop you sell like cans and bottles of drinks. So I went with some lovely mineral water, and then I went and added some, did I use cans or bottles? Maybe just bottles. And this is all kind of, I think this is like, it's either the juice, like the kombucha thing, I think, from the Eco Lifestyle. Actually, I think that's what it is. And so I used a lot of that for the food and drink clutter, as you can see, just kind of trying to place them not so evenly that it looks really generic and not like a bit mismatchy, looks more realistic for me. So that's kind of what I did. And then I wanted to tie that into the back kitchen with this little touch of adding like boxes that would like have the stock, I guess. I guess to make this more realistic I would have a little stock room or something, but yeah, it would have been a lot chunkier of a build, and it was already like a massive square and looked hella weird. But I did try to make the outside look a bit better, and you'll see towards the end like I have these massive metal industrial columns that I used everywhere and kind of framed it with a trim as well, just to kind of create this whole industrial theme on the outside and the inside, as you can see here. Also I liked on the top the kind of green overgrown roof, like a living roof, I guess. I used to do this on a lot of old builds. I really like it. To me it just is a nice way of adding something to a flat roof that could be a little bit boring, because I'm not the best at creating roofs, I feel. So this felt like a cool addition to it to make it look kind of nice, and it kind of combats the boringness that you can have sometimes with just fully industrial stuff. Like I like having pops of green, so that's why I went for like the palm trees as well, and a lot of the greenery around the front. It kind of reminded me of kind of like a really edgy coffee house that you'd find in LA. Like the palm trees, just in my mind I was like, yep, that's the theme, that's what it is. And then I went ahead and added like some terrain paint and stuff. I also add like some little graffiti signs, I guess, on the side, just because like these spaces were super open and I was like, I kind of want something there. And then I decided for a little bit more greenery I would go ahead and find some ivy, and then I added that to the side as well. But now going in back into the build, because I build in the weirdest order. I think the way I build is like I'll be midway through doing something and I'm like, oh wait, like I want to do this, and then suddenly I'm like, okay, let me go check that, so I remember it, it's in my brain. Otherwise I think I'd forget some of my ideas, I guess. But the bathroom is something I did struggle with. Maybe I could have made it not brick, like literally everything in here is brick in terms of the walls. I guess I could have added something different and have brick as more of a feature wall in some of the rooms, but I just ended up having no variation in the walls, but I guess that's fine, that's cool. But yeah, I was just like fussing with the paintings in the bathrooms, which you don't normally get, but for me in Sims builds I always put paintings in bathrooms. Super not like realistic at all, but yeah. As you can see here, this is the ivy I was doing, which I think worked really well. Kind of scaled it up a little bit and had it overgrowing on top of the beams and stuff, and then just adding some more plants to the walls and things like that, just making small additions. Like, oh, I didn't put a bin in actually, did I? Oh my gosh, there's only an outdoor bin. Who am I? Why? That's like the one thing I always forget in all of my builds, I swear. A bin. It's so simple, but I just, nah, can't have it. And then I thought I would add a little flower arrangement to all of the tables. That's the one thing I was struggling to find. I feel like there's not a lot of dainty enough flower pieces or central pieces for such small tables. So I went with these little kind of not daffodils, they kind of like look like daisies, I guess, but little vases of flowers. And then I was just messing about with the lighting a little bit because I didn't want to use the exact same lights everywhere. And as you can see, having a faff with paintings again. But I guess in some cool places you have cool bathrooms with cool wall art and stuff, you know, like I feel like it's not too crazy. So maybe having all this weird wall art in a bathroom isn't so weird in some places. Who knows? But I decided to go for it in this, and having this cool stack of brown paintings, but sure. But that is pretty much it for this build, guys. I really hope that you did like it, and if you did like the video, do give it a thumbs up and let me know what other videos you would like to see on this channel. Also feel free to subscribe to stay tuned for videos every Saturday, and that is pretty much it. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.